Hello, I'm Jared Jiscold. Welcome to my new deck profile. On this one, we're going to be talking about the Sacred Beast, one of the cooler archetypes that's come out this year. One of the legacy supports, I should say, and I was so excited for this when it was revealed that it was going to be released, and they made it, and it did not disappoint. So I'm excited to show this one off. Well, I don't want to drag on too far. Let's just get started. So here's my Sacred Beast deck. I'm sure you have some questions. Let's just talk about each and every one of them individually. Let's go on to the deck first, and I'm sure as you have questions, I'll just answer them, because I'm sure there's a few cards that you may see a little bit suspect, so we'll talk about it. On to the monsters, we play one copy of Raviel, Lord of Phantasm, Shimmering Scraper. Basically, it's just a hand trap. I mean, yeah, technically you can summon it, but there's no real reason to. You most likely just use it for the hand trap effect, where you can discard it, target Raviel, and it becomes basically like a Libe. It does current attacking, attack all monsters for the rest of the turn. Awesome. Then we move on to the rest of the Sacred Beasts. We play two copies of Haman, my personal favorite. When it's in defense mode, you can't attack any other monster, and when it destroys monsters into the graveyard, it inflicts 1,000 damage. Pretty good. We play two copies of Raviel, Lord of Phantasms. He's okay. Every time your opponent summons a monster, you get a token. And then once returning, you contribute a monster, gain attack. You can do kind of funny plays where you contribute Haman and then discard Shimmering Scraper and get like a 12,000 attack Raviel. That's pretty awesome, I'll admit, but he's okay. On to the other cards, we have three copies of Dark Summoning Beast. Basically, you tribute summon a Sacred Beast from your deck, but you cannot attack for the rest of the turn. Keep in mind though, if you do it main phase 2, you can just attack all your monsters and do this main phase 2. And then you can banish it and add a Sacred Beast from your deck to your hand. It's pretty prevalent in a combo, which I'll show after I finish the deck profile. Onto our hand traps, we play three copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. It's just a good card. You pretty much need to play Ash Blossom. It's like the effect consolidator. It protects you from getting your ass just annihilated. We play three copies of Dark Beckoning Beast. When it's normal summoned, you can search a Sacred Beast card, a card that specifically lists any of the Sacred Beasts. And you can also normal summon a Fiend monster with 0 attack and defense in addition to your regular normal summon. So you can either tribute summon it for Dark Summoning Beast, or just normal summon Chaos Summoning Beast, which is our last monster. Its effect is you can tribute this card, special summon Uriah, Lord of Searing Flames, Haman, or Raviel from your hand. And then you can banish it and add Fallen Paradise. Fantastic card. Probably artwork-wise, probably my favorite of all of the new ones. I don't play Dark Core or Chaos Core in this deck, but yeah, he's cool. I like him. I like his weird skeleton body, his weird mermaid tail. Yeah. Okay, on to our spells. We play three copies of Lure of Darkness. Just in most dark decks, you would like to play it. Generally, I would like to. It would be more of like a last resort because you can banish extra copies of Dark Summoning Beast, but preferably you'd like to keep your monsters. But it's extra draw power. 1 for 1, discard a monster, get Chaos Summoning Beast, and then summon one of the Sacred Beasts. Pretty simple. Call by the Grave, one of my favorite cards. Again, it's an effect consolidator. We played one copy of Cerulean Skyfire. This is one of the new ones. Its first effect's completely irrelevant. Basically, you can send set spells instead of continuous. Its relevant effect is while you control a attack position, Haman, Lord of Striking Thunder, you can get any spell or trap card effect activated by your opponent. Then change Haman to defense mode. And then if a Sacred Beast leaves the field, you take no damage that turn. That effect's pretty, I wouldn't say irrelevant. I guess you could technically play IP at Masquerena, maybe do something with that, but that's irrelevant. Mostly it's just the onboard negate, which is always important. What is important, incredibly important, is the three copies of Opening of the Spirit Gates. When it's activated, you add a Sacred Beast, and then once per turn you can discard a card, special summon a Fiend monster with 0 attack or 0 defense from your graveyard. And if you control level 10 monster, you can add it to a spell. So if for some reason you have to discard Cerulean Skyfire, or maybe a Nightmare effect. Can you discard Nightmare? Yeah. You can just get it back. So, not relevant. We played two copies of Fallen Paradise, only two because it's searchable. You can't target any Sacred Beast monster, and then the most relevant effect, or target them, I'm sorry. And then the most relevant effect is every single fucking turn, draw 2 cards. That's wild. Yeah, that's very, very important. That's like the main thing of the deck. Very fill spell based. On to our trap cards, we play there can only be one. Obviously, going turn 1, usually you just want to do your play, which I'll show momentarily, and then you just activate that and say have fun, because like you usually have a fiend and a thunder monster on the field, so you're safe. Your opponent not so much. We play 3 copies of Awakening the Sacred Beast. It gains effects based on the number of Sacred Beasts on the field. Due to how we do this, we have only 2, so the maximum we can get is a second effect, which negate the activated effects of monsters your opponent controls. That includes the graveyard and the hand, mind you. And its first effect, which you may say is irrelevant, but no. This effect is actually relatively strong. Each time your opponent normal summons a special summon monster, gain life points equal to the attack of that monster or monsters. So, let's say if your opponent is just in the middle of doing their play, you may gain upwards of 5,000 to 10,000 extra life points. Depending on the deck, of course, but still. That's a really strong effect. And then if you have the second effect, you pretty much just win the game. Like, straight up. I'll play 1 copy of Skill Drain, just pay 1,000, completely shut off your opponent. All of your boys are very, very meaty, so you don't have to worry about their effects. Their effects help, but they're unnecessary. Raviol's better than Hamon, effect-wise, but you get the point. And hell, you can even have Skill Drain and Cerulean Skyfire, your opponent's fucked. And then for the last 3 cards, my personal tech, play 3 Solemn Strikes. Again, going first, it's just so important to have those effects that negate your opponent and just stop. Because, especially if you're knowledgeable on how, what card is the weak point and the strat the most, the effect you need to negate with each archetype, then it's really, really useful. On to the extra, we have 1 Super Dreadnought, Real Cannon, I'm just going to say Libe, because that's a lot. We have 1 Juggernaut Libe, and then we have Dreadnought Dora, and then Dreadnought, and then Real Cannon Gustav Max, just as a little engine. Because you can literally just overlay into Max, do 2,000, overlay into Libe and win. That's a very simple strategy the deck's very capable of doing. Dora can be used in a defensive, as a defensive tilt. You don't really need it. It's probably the most useless of Max and Dora, in this deck at least, it's probably the most useless. Of course it can protect you, but eh. We played 1 copy of Utopic Dark Infinity. Mostly just for fun, but I think it actually is not that bad. I mean, it lets you get your if you destroy a monster out of battle, it lets you just take it. So a very common strategy you can use this is if your opponent has a big synchro that has a windowing effect, you can just beat over it, take it, and you're good. It goes in defense mode, obviously, that's still pretty good. And then as an additional effect, regain more life points to fill you out. And what am I using with all these random life point gains? You better fucking believe I'm using Ravenous Tarantula. I have hit people for over 30,000 before. It is glorious. And hell, it does burn damage. Again, this deck has a bit of a secondary burn theme. I love it. So yeah, Ravenous Tarantula I'm definitely playing. You could theoretically play 7 Sins, but if I were in the situation to summon 7 Sins, I probably would rather just summon Libe. So, that's it for the Exceed. For the links, we play 1 copy of Warlord, of course. 1 Zero Boros. Do you need him? No, but I like to play him. He's like my fun link. So you just Gold Dread, an actual good link that actually can push plays more in your favor if you can get him out. We have Excess Code Talker because he's a big link that just blows up a whole bunch of shit. Trisbania, which actually is relatively good. If your opponent does not have an immediate out to Trisbania, and they're playing a back row heavy deck, which you would summon it against, they lose. Onto the Nightmare engine, only not an engine, but Unicorn, Phoenix, Cerberus, you pretty much play this in every deck. For the 2 link ones, we play Relinquished Anima and Salamangreat All Mirage. Generally, All Mirage is the best one, but if your opponent places a monster there, you can just slurp it up with Anima and everything is cash money. So, that is the deck profile. But I want to show you guys a couple of just simple first turn hands, which I try to do with decks that have interesting combos. So give me 1 second and I'll get right to it. Now that's a hand, okay. So let's see. You normal summon Dark Beckoning Beast, get its effect off. Yeah, that's actually a really good hand. Generally, whenever you have Dark Beckoning Beast, you want to get Opening the Spirit Gates and vice versa. It depends generally, but it's very important to have these cards on the field, or get these cards opening turn. because they are like your play starters. Generally with opening the Spirit Gates, you want to add Chaos Summoning Beast. Yeah, I'm awesome. Yeah. Cause like, this is a really good opening hand. You send Dark Baking Beast to the graveyard because you need a Dark Monster in the graveyard in order to use opening the Spirit Gates. But the way opening the Spirit Gates is, the text is, you have to discard a card first. So you discard the Dark Summoning Beast, which is in my hand, in order to get it back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can theoretically get Dark Baking Beast, but because of the way it's worded, you can get Dark Summoning Beast. And just get a large, big, meaty beast out of your deck. And going first, the whole attack thing is completely irrelevant. I'll get Hamon first, generally because he's my favorite, but mostly because I have Cerulean Skyfire. You then probably use Dark Summoning Beast to get the another Sacred Beast out of your deck. Unfortunately, I'm going to try to draw into the trap, which I mean is not completely unlikely. I'm probably just going to activate Alert of Darkness now to try to get the trap, awakening into the Sacred Beast. I fortunately did not get it. I was banished him. I still have another chance to get it with the effect of Fallen Paradise, which I'm gonna get the other Fallen Paradise on my deck to increase my chances of searching it. Because it is, I mean, I have a pretty good feel already. I mean, that's like, out of like, what, 2 cards, I've already gotten a pretty substantial amount of pluses. The Cerulean Skyfire is just gravy, as the kids say. Let's see if I can draw the Awakening of the Sacred Beast. Fantastic. Okay, for the last card. Okay, so with this on the field, we have 2 untargetable, indestructible level 10 monsters. We have a on-field negate with Cerulean Skyfire, which can help us if they happen to have an alien match or something that can just completely wipe out our lives. We have Opening the Spirit Gates, which I mean, it's there. It's search, it's important. We have Fallen Paradise, which gives us a constant +2 every turn. +2, yes, because it's the field spell, and you're not losing the field spell. You keep getting +2. And finally, we have an on-field skill drain, or not only say skill drain, like an Inspector Border. What is Inspector Border? Yeah, like a skill drain, Inspector Border, like Majesty's Fiend, I think it's called. That negates everything, hand, field, and graveyard, monster-wise. And its first effect lets us gain life points equal to the attack of the monsters. So, our opponent is pretty much screwed. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with that. That is, I mean, to be fair, we got really lucky with the draw, but this is a pretty good hand too. But the deck is so consistent. That's the most important part. Like, you have so many ways to search out these monsters, and as long as you have Opening of the Spirit Gates and like one of the other beast monsters, you're good. So that was my deck profile. If you guys are interested in seeing more deck profiles from me, leave a like and maybe subscribe. I appreciate the hell out of it. I try to do deck profiles every other week with a discussion on the off weeks and maybe other videos in the future. So if you guys have any improvements about Sacred Beast deck profile, I'd love to hear them because I really want to make this deck as good as possible because it's one of my favorite decks I picked up this year. Otherwise though, I'm Jared J. Schooler and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.